Thousands of fentanyl pills off the streets. What investigators say made this case even more disturbing. Plus, concerns at Multnomah County libraries. Hear from workers who say they don't feel safe on the job. And later, we get a preview of a homeless safe rest village in Hillsboro. How organizers plan to help bring people into the new space. And we start tonight with a record-breaking drug bust. Thanks for joining us. I'm Catherine Cook in for David. A team of Multnomah County Sheriff's investigators seized more than 52 pounds of fentanyl powder and 8,000 pills. Investigators say that's the equivalent of 11 million doses. Drugs, they say, that would have ended up on Portland streets. Inside this cardboard box, 52 pounds of powdered fentanyl. Investigators with the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office Dangerous Drugs Team seized it from a Portland home Thursday during a record-breaking drug bust. They also found 8,000 fentanyl pills at a home in Oregon City connected to the case. Investigators arrested 3 people. They also found $30,000 in cash and several guns. The bust came after a months-long investigation and support from the Oregon-Idaho High-Intensity Drug Trafficking Program, or HIDTA for short.
It's a big problem, and it's just getting bigger and bigger all the time.
Chris Gibson is the executive director of HIDTA. He says the amount of fentanyl pills investigators have seized this year is nearly the same as they confiscated last year. He says what's different and disturbing about this case is the drugs in powder form. He says the 52 pounds of fentanyl powder is the equivalent of 11 million doses. All of it, investigators say, was headed for Portland streets.
I think that drug trafficking organizations have established a consumer base here so that, rather than seeking out Oxycontin pills or, other counterfeit pills and hiding fentanyl in those, now people are actually asking for fentanyl and seeking it out.
Let's get you caught up now on tonight's other headlines. In Longview, police are investigating what they call a potential homicide. Just after 7:15 this morning, officers were called out to do a welfare check behind Superior Tire and Auto. That's on 14th and Tennant Way. When they got there, they found a man dead. Police have not released the victim's name. Portland police are still looking for a suspect connected to what they're calling a car shootout and chase this morning. They say people in 2 vehicles shot at each other. It happened near North Lombard and Hearst. Police say the drivers then chased each other and crashed in Northeast Portland. One person was taken to the hospital. The other ran off. A telephone pole and other cars were also damaged. And after a 4-month-long investigation, police arrested a suspect in Portland in a hatchet attack. 32-year-old Joseph Chastain was taken into custody yesterday. The attack happened August 12th in southeast Portland. Police say Chastain chased and attacked another man with an axe. The victim suffered a severe leg injury. Police say Chastain had followed the victim after a road rage incident. Earlier this week, investigators say a man in Clark County shot and killed 4 members of his family before killing himself. Now, one organization is reporting a rise in calls for help. The Clark County Sheriff's Office believes 64-year-old Stuart Rouse shot and killed his wife, Christina, his brother, Ronald, and his 2 adult daughters before turning the gun on himself. Since Monday, the Clark County's YWCA says they've seen a 50% increase in calls to their domestic violence hotline. The organizers say that the domestic violence takes on many forms and knows no bounds. She believes this uptick in calls means more people are reflecting on their own situations and taking steps towards safety.
The holidays are a stressor for anybody, and then you add a domestic violence situation, it really just increases the amount of violence that is happening in that relationship. And we do see an increase in people reaching out to our services, and we have seen an increase in homicides around this time as well.
Because of the call increase, the YWCA is asking for additional support, including financial donations to help those in need of care. They can provide shelter and housing resources and help with safety planning as well. We also want to remind you, if you or someone you know is in crisis, help is available by calling or texting 988. That's the way to connect to a suicide prevention crisis center and a trained counselor. Turning now to our homeless crisis, Washington County is getting ready to open a second Safe Rest Pod Village in Hillsborough. It'll have room for 40 people. Our Daisy Caballero shows us how the site will work.
To be here today, it's kind of like surreal. Like I can't believe it's actually happening.
Washington County is getting ready to open its second Safe Rest Pod Village in Hillsborough off Southwest 17th Avenue, a location where the unhoused community is already staying, according to the nonprofit Open Door Housing Works, who will run the village.
People are camping along Dairy Creek and other areas kind of by the railroad tracks, and so we want to be able to provide services where people tend to want to be.
Now on site here, there are a total of 30 of these pallet shelter homes, which 10 of them are going to be used for couples. And I'm told every single one of these is equipped with both AC and heating. Like many Safe Rest pods and villages in Portland, Open Door will use a referral program. That way, they'll bring people into the village who are ready to take the next step.
But while they're here, we're caring for them and helping them get access to permanent supportive housing or affordable housing, and then that's just the beginning step of so many great things for them. The Pod Village was funded by Governor Tina Kotek's executive emergency declaration around homelessness.
To be this winter, to have additional shelter capacity is exactly what we need to see.
Governor Kotek adds the partnerships within the communities are what makes a concept come alive, all with the hope of getting people off the streets.
And then the ultimate goal is to get people into housing. But this is that first step, from the streets to transitional shelter to getting into housing. And we need to build more housing.
Washington County officials tell KGW this pod village will be open year-round, adding they're working on a permanent shelter site at that location. And until then, they will keep these pallet shelter homes readily available.
That we have a crisis, and we can't just ignore it. And we have to provide bold and brave solutions to make sure that we're addressing that.
Reporting in Hillsborough, Daisy Caballero, KGW News.
New information tonight on how Portland Public Schools plans to make up days lost during the teacher strike. The district says it will excuse absences during the week of December 18th through 22nd. That was supposed to be students' first week of winter break, but now they'll need to be in class. However, the district says if families already made plans and can't cancel them, they can record absences as vacation days. The district sent information to PPS families on how to do that. A new program aims to help local schools provide more mental health support for students. The program, supported by Senator Ron Wyden, allows Medicaid to reimburse school districts for providing that care. Today, Wyden visited Oliver Middle School in the Centennial School District in Gresham. He says the program will provide mental health care to students whose families can't afford the care on their own.
This is a commitment to serve people who are walking an economic, tightrope. That's the people who benefit from this. These are the people who every single week are balancing the food bill against the fuel bill and the fuel bill against the rent bill.
Wyden says the program will start in January. He wants all school districts in Oregon that qualify to take advantage of the Medicaid funding.